Happy Friday, everybody. It is week 18 for me. I'm Cheri Bant, and this is my journey living whole food plant-based. And it's my update day. Friday is the day that I do my weekly update. So let's get right into it. We're like I said, week 18. Last week I introduced you to our new puppy. And so it was a little bit of a tough week because I didn't get much sleep last week and just felt kind of like crap. Like, it's like having an infant in the house. Well, this week was tough as well because week number 2 with the puppy, she's doing lots better. But we had lots of illness in the house. Like, everybody came down with being sick. With the older kids were supposed to actually be going on a trip to visit my mother-in-law, and that had to be canceled. And it started out with not my oldest son, but my next one down. He got it, and like 2 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks this past Sunday, we helped with a big event at our church. And so the kids, honestly, they haven't been sick in almost 2 years. So so it was tough. So we kind of were like, is it COVID? We had to do like some tests, and it wasn't, but it went from one to the next to the next. Started with sore throat, really bad sore throat. Some of them got fever. Some of the kids had like 103 fever for about 24 hours. And I realized, short order, it's been a long time since any of my kids have been sick, because I went to go get meds out of the cabinet and like everything was expired. I luckily had some ibuprofen that seemed to work. But long story short, it's been a little bit of a rough road. Some of them are still kind of recovering. Now they're kind of like congested, and luckily it wasn't, not COVID, just a cold. And I'll say, because of COVID, we hadn't really been out amongst everyone all that often. And we actually just started this past summer returning, going back to church services on Sundays. And so being around more people, and I'm sure that's part of it. Like going to an event where there were just tons and tons of people, lots of kids. My kids helped out at the event. We all helped. My younger kids played with all the other kids, and everybody's touching everything, and yeah, they all came down with it. But so before I go into like details, now this is just my theory, guys, and I feel kind of bad as a mom because if you've been following along, I'm eating whole food plant-based, no oil or limited, very small oil, and also my husband is following along with that, and Allison, our oldest that still lives with us. Now the rest of the kids have kind of come into the fray, but not completely. So we still have, I'm not buying cheese necessarily anymore, except for my older boys still occasionally will have sandwiches with cheese. And we had some like mozzarella cheese sticks in the freezer, and I'm still doing some of the bad mommy things where I'm, dairy is definitely, I know, a problem. And then also with animal protein, with everything that I'm learning, it causes oxidative stress in your body. And if you start to get, exposed to things like COVID or a cold, having the dairy protein and also the animal proteins can certainly hinder your ability to fight off the infection. So long story short, I kind of feel bad, but I will tell you, Allison hasn't gotten sick. Darren has not gotten sick. I have not gotten anything, and it went bing, bang, boom through each one of them. It was about a 24-hour cycle, and then they would get it. The next one would get it. And I think there were a few days where Darren and I both kind of had like a little tinge of like, I just didn't feel 100%, especially having lack of sleep, which certainly doesn't help with having the puppy. And then, and all of that, but we haven't got it. And I could knock on wood. We'll see. It's still not completely through, but I would think by now, having kids that have actually slept with me at night, and our youngest did one night, and he was like all in my face, coughing and sneezing. And so if I was going to get it, I'd probably get it. And it could be that it's something that we've already been exposed to at some point, because we're lots older than they are. But I don't know. I think it's the fact that we haven't had any of the animal protein or any dairy, and they have had that. So yeah, I don't know. Just putting that out there. Okay, so what are the updates? And I don't have tons. I say that every time. I don't have tons, but I do have some things that I want to share. 2:31 when I was in the hospital. That would have been about 20 weeks or so ago. I can't even believe that. But and as of this morning, in the last few days, I have weighed 169 pounds. So I haven't even done the math on that. What is that, like 60? I should be able to do this, right? This math, like in my head. I'm not doing it in my head. I'm doing it on the computer right here. 62 pounds, people. So I've officially lost 62 pounds. gosh, it's just crazy. I gotta tell you, I got out of the shower, getting ready, because we're gonna have to go to the store, because Friday's the day that we usually shop. And my jeans, because I had purchased, you know, new ones, and I haven't been wearing them very often. I'm living in my like workout clothes or whatever because they're comfortable. I looked at them. I'm like, I don't know. I washed them. You know, I wore them without washing them, and then this is the second time that I'm wearing this pair. And I looked at them. I'm like, I don't know. I think they shrank. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into them. So I'm looking at them, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I put them on, and they're a little big. So so it just feels nice. I mean, I know that that's not the most important, and I talked about that before, but holy cow, 62 pounds. And I'll tell you, this week's been rough. I mean, it's been super rough. And I've eaten a little more than I normally do. Didn't make a difference. Actually, maybe it helped me. Who knows? I don't know. I still did my exercise. That's the next thing. I forgot to talk about this last week, but I'm at 108 days of consecutive walking / walking some days. It's on average, I'm 3+ miles a day. So 100, there's only one of those days where I did only 1 mile out of 108 days. The rest of them, I did 3 or more miles every single day. I have not missed that. It isn't always continuous miles. Sometimes it's split up between, you know, 1.6 2 times or whatever. And sometimes it's more. Like today I did my 5 Mile Friday, and I'll tell you, because I was tired, I got to about 2 point whatever miles, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm only gonna do 3 miles today, because I was pooped. But then I get to about that 3 mile mark, and I'm like, hoo, I'm ready to go. And I even ran the last little bit of that 5 miles. I run the end of it. It's like I'm ending strong. So I did it today, and I the only thing I haven't done in the last week is I have not lifted at all. And typically I do that twice a week, but my son, my oldest son that helps me, he hasn't felt too good, and we're in a small space, and I really are, the lifting stuff's upstairs. So I was like, you know what, I'm tired, they're getting better, I'll put it off for a week. So I did do that. So with that being said, I will tell you, didn't miss not doing that. Didn't at all. I know that it does help, that resistance training, that weightlifting, just with my muscles and things, and like flappy skin, because I'm getting lots of that, having lost 62 pounds in 18 weeks. I don't have tons, but you can see, I shouldn't be like, this is pretty gross. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it, guys, because I just feel so much better. I don't care I don't even know if I've ever talked about this, but the Adam Sandler, I don't know what movie it is. Is it Click or something? He gets really fat, and then he gets skinny, and he has this belly flap, and he's like boom, 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 boom. I kind of make jokes that that's what I'll have at the end, but that's all right. So be it. You know, I'll love it all. I don't care. I just feel so much better and it's nice to get into, like, you know, smaller clothes, and my clothes are all getting too big again. My shirt is like super large. I don't know if you can see that, but it used to be a little snugger on me if you look back at the other videos. And so yeah, but 108 days of consecutive exercise, and 3+ miles a day, and I couldn't be doing it if I wasn't feeding my body the fuel that it needed. It all goes together. The sleep, and see that, like the weightlifting, I didn't feel like I was getting enough sleep to do my walking and do that too. And there's times when you need to know that. But what I was getting at, kind of got a little sidetracked, but you need to find, if you're going to do anything physical, find something you really enjoy. And I really enjoy walking. I love getting out in nature and walking. And even 2 times this week, I went to a different spot. There's a nature preserve just like down the road. I went there and walked, and then I went and did a new one. And that sometimes just gives me a little variation. But I love getting out in nature and walking, and not, you know, just on flat surfaces, but on elevate, like, you know, like on trail hiking or whatever. But if it's something that you enjoy, you will enjoy doing it and look forward to doing it. If it's like the weightlifting, I don't so much enjoy it. I feel like, ooh, if I can get through a good one and get all my sets in, I feel like I've accomplished something. But if I was to pick, which would I rather do, I would always rather walk than lift weights. So if you find something that you love and enjoy, like I've thought about, and there's no place around here, but I'd love to like tap dance again. Like when I was a little girl, I would tap dance, and I think that'd be fun. And that'd be a workout, I think. But so if you live in the West Michigan area and you see this video and you know where I could go to an adult tap dancing class that actually is in person, I would love to know, because I think that would be like hellaciously fun. But anyways, okay. So the The other thing that's going on, that's kind of, I wasn't going to do this because I wasn't going to spend the money. It's not a lot of money. I shared it on my Facebook page yesterday. PLANTSTOCK 2021. It's through Plant Strong. It's the Esselstyn, so like Dr. Essie and all of his family, Anne and Jane and Rip, and they're doing PLANTSTOCK 2021. It's $49. I think you can still get tickets, guys, and then you can watch the recorded stuff. Yesterday, it's been the last 2 days, so today's day number 3. It's like 5 days long, and they have speakers. Like today, there's stuff going on right now that I'm missing, but I can watch it later, so I'll just go back and watch it. But every day they have just a lineup of speakers, and then there's also like cooking demonstrations, and like T. Colin Campbell. He spoke yesterday, and I think today Cyrus and Robbie are speaking for Mastering Diabetes. But one of the things, it's only $49, and I wasn't going to do it because I'm like, I can't, we're kind of on a tight budget, and that's the extra $50 I can spend on something else. But I did it, and I'm happy I did. I will tell you, if you can still get tickets, do it just for one thing only. Well, a couple things. But Adam Sudd talked the first day, and I've heard his talk before, but this was a little bit longer. You can look him up, Adam Sudd, Adam S-U-D, and his story, and it's so good. It's just so freaking good. And I've heard it before, and I cried, and one of the things that it's just, I don't even want to give it away. I just want you to go spend the $49 to support the Esselstyn Foundation, because that's what it does, and then also PLANTSTOCK, and then you can hear his story. If you don't want to, you can dig though online, and you can listen to. He's been on a few different podcasts and interviewed that way. And I know he's a coach with Mastering Diabetes as well, and does stuff with Rip Esselstyn and Plant Strong. But some of the things he talks about is just, obviously his life was changed by eating a whole food plant-based diet. But he talks about self-love, and how we treat our bodies is an act of self-love. And it's so true. It's so true. If you can think about your food and treating your body, we've been given this body, and we should be appreciative of it. And I think I've talked about this before in other videos. It like strikes me that, I was treating my body like shit, and it still was working for me. I got up every day, and I'm breathing, and it's working, even though I was doing everything contrary to what it needed. And since the day I've been God granted me life, it's fighting for me. Your body's fighting for you. But to treat it and appreciate it instead of feeling like you're battling it. Because I will tell you, and he talks about this too, this I won't say diet, I'm going to say lifestyle, because this is not something that I'm going to do for a short time. This is something I'm going to do forever. Only because I know how much it's changed me, and how much more I am alive and feel better. And not until you feel better do you know how bad you felt. And but it's an act of self-love, and eating well and making healthy choices are all acts of love for yourself. So I just thought that it's just so good, guys. You need to look that up. If you don't want to pay the money and do the PLANTSTOCK, then just look it up, and you can find his story. But just a couple of things like that that have really hit me that I haven't mentioned. I don't think I mentioned this, that have been kind of a big deal that I kind of took, I didn't even think about when I was bigger. And I don't mean to, I don't know how to explain this except for the fact that when Darren hugs me now, I'm closer to him. And it just feels so nice to be able to be closer to my husband. I hope that makes sense. But then also something that's so precious to me that I never crossed my mind was Edison, our littlest son, our youngest son, or any of the kids at this point now. If he hugs me, he can put his arms all the way around me and give me a hug. And it's special. And I didn't have that before. I was too big for Darren to like fully hug me, or my son to fully, because I was huge. I mean, it was, and you don't realize, and maybe if this was a longer journey, like maybe if I wouldn't have lost this weight in such a short amount of time, maybe it wouldn't be as obvious to me. But I've thought about this a few times. I'm like, like my husband can even pick me up if he wanted to. He couldn't. I mean, he probably could have before, but he might have hurt himself. And it's not about being fat. I mean, that's what I was obese, and I still am overweight, but it's just the difference that having that weight be gone, the difference that makes, and the closer, not only emotionally that I feel like I am, because I will tell you, when you're not feeling good, it's hard to connect emotionally with the people that you love. So you get that back, and then physically, you know. So anyways, I just want to share that. And then the last thing, and this is a short one because I'm like only at 15 minutes right now. I have lots of other stuff I want to talk about. I have, oh my gosh, so many thoughts about some things that happened yesterday, some mandates in our country that I don't know where they'll go. I have some thoughts on that, and I didn't silence my phone, sorry. But I think I will not share them, but maybe at some point I will express how I feel. But something I did yesterday, if you look follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I rolled my own sushi rolls, and they were so stinking good. The nori papers, you can get them at any grocery store. And we had done red peppers and onions and mushrooms in the oven the night, like a fajita kind of thing, and to do like fajita bowls or whatever. Enchilada bowls is what I called them. Sorry, here, let me do this. And so we had those leftovers. So I had the strips of the red pepper. I did have some cucumber in the fridge, so I chopped, you know, like the little sticks, because that's what you have for your rolls. Obviously, there's no meat or fish or anything like that in there. But I did and then cut up some of the mushrooms so that they were kind of more elongated. So I had the mushrooms and the red pepper and the cucumber, and then I took a little guacamole. Kind of sounds weird. I didn't have any avocado slices, or I would have done that. Little guacamole, squeeze that over, and you know, you'd done the rice. And we had basmati rice last night that was warm. And if it's warm rice and you kind of like agitate it, it gets stickier. So I didn't do any of the vinegar or anything like that in the rice, because I think most sushi rolls have vinegar in the rice. I didn't do that. I think that actually would taste good though. But I spread that out on the nori roll, put my stuff up, and then rolled it up. It was so stinking good. It was so good. I never thought they would be that good. And I've always been intimidated. I'm like, I want to try that. I will tell you have to have a sharp knife to cut it though. So mine got a little wonky and but I made one batch. We all kind of tried them. And then I made a whole nother batch and I ate them all myself because they were so delicious. But you can like put leftovers and all kinds of goods. You could do like a sushi roll, like buffet. It would be so fun. Now having tried it, I'll have to get more, and I'll see if I can get the kids to maybe try doing it. But I'm sold, and that's simple. I mean, it's not hard. I will tell you, this is even before we went plant-based. Get yourself a cheap rice cooker, because that is the best thing, best investment you can ever have. The other thing is a tip, something that we found: if you have well water at all, or high levels of minerals, it kind of affects how your rice cooks. And we use distilled water when we make rice, because it cooks a lot better and you get a much better texture to your rice. And I only use brown rice now. We use, we'll do quinoa, we use brown, just regular brown rice, or basmati brown rice. I love that. I love that kind of flavor profile that has. But anyways, I just wanted to share that. You got to make yourself, you got to roll your own. Roll your own. It's fun. It's fun, and they're delicious, and it's not hard at all. So anyway, that's all I have. Check out PLANTSTOCK 2021. Go to plantstrong.com. I should probably put a link. Maybe I'll put a link at the bottom of this, and you can check that out and check. And then if you can, because I know if you sign up now, you get to like get the links to the ones that were recorded, and you can watch the Adam Sudd interview or whatever, his talk. And there's lots of other amazing speakers and so many good things, from everything from eating, starting out plant-based, to like how this affects our environment and like what we're eating. And if that's something that motivates you at all, you need to check out whole food plant-based eating, and how we could make a change to that based on making changes in our diet. So anyways, that's all I got for you. And I'll be back next week, because I do this every week. It's my accountability thing to myself, and it's my way to share. And again, if you live in the West Michigan area and you know where I can go tap dance, I would love to know. And if you have any tips for me, if you have any stories you'd like to share, if you have any, anything, or if there's any way I can help, please reach out. I would love to. So thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed week. We'll see you next one.